Hey, welcome to Cooking with RangerRob. Grab your aprons and let's get started, guys. Before we get started, please take the time to subscribe, then click on the bell icon to get notified of our future videos. Hey everyone, welcome to Cooking with RangerRob. Today is kind of a neat day because I'm going to make something I've never made before, and that's lasagna. I think the last time I've had a homemade lasagna, my mother made it for me when I was a kid. So I got the recipe from Sam the Cooking Guy, and I'm modifying it a little bit. So I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you take the time to learn how to cook too. Why am I doing this? Well, I retired a couple years ago, and my wife is still working because that's where we get our insurance. And yes, I'm only 58. And I do have a company, and that's and obviously you've seen us with the RangerRob pet Poopy bags, which are in Amazon, by the way. And when you buy those, you're helping support this channel too, along with some other channels. Anyway, I wanted to show that anybody can do cooking, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Once you kind of dive in and get past the paranoia of making your first gravy or making something you've never done before, actually after a while you don't need recipes, you just kind of know what to do. So I'm looking forward to it. The one thing that we have worked on really hard is we created a new website called cookingwithrangerrob.com, which all of our recipes, including old ones I've made with the Traeger, and I'm going to redo them and put them into that library, so you can find cooking with pork, cooking with beef, cooking with chicken, comfort foods. We'll have it all categorized. So bear with me, the site's fairly new, so I'm loading things as we go and taking our time, so it's going to be a while before the full library is ready. But anyway, it's a beautiful day here in Arizona, and it's time to do some cooking. So come on, let's go in the kitchen. Let's go make our first lasagna. Guys, before we get started to make this lasagna, I'm going to make what's called a Bolognese. It's a meat sauce, and so that's going to be our first priority. Then the rest is a piece of cake. So let's get going. So we're starting off with some onions, which I had bought pre-cut. I'm starting some celery pre-cut, and I had to cut up a few carrots. I'm going for about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of each one into the bowl, and then we're going to saute those up and then add hamburger. So here we go. I'm also be using some 80/20 hamburger. I like to get it just like this, easy to work with. To get these open, I just take a knife and just cut it from the side all the way across, all the way back, like so. So I just peel it open and pop it right into the pan. So all right, let's get over to the kitchen. Here we go, guys. I'm adding some olive oil to the pan and getting it all warmed up, and then I'm adding my carrots, then I'm throwing in some onions, and then last but not least some celery. I'm doing about 3/4 of a cup of each. So just start cooking and stirring till everything softens up. Next I'm adding some garlic, so I put it right in the center and throw a little bit of oil on it, and then wait for about 45 seconds and blend it all together. Time to add 1 pound of 80/20 hamburger. So basically all you're going to do is break this up, get it browned up, all mixed up with the vegetables till it looks real pretty like. Here I'm adding 3 pinches of salt and pepper, and do it to taste. During this process I keep stirring and blending, stirring and blending. Here's the fun part. I'm adding about 1/4 of a cup of vermouth, and you can always do a taste test, you know. Now just burn off the alcohol, blend in the flavors, and when you're done, add beef stock, about 1 can, and then add some diced tomatoes. 1 can will do. Now I'm adding some tomato paste. I just use a little can. You can use a squeeze bottle too. And I'm using a
teeny little can and I'm going to use all of it. And of course, stir and blend, stir and blend. Now I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of oregano. Here I'm adding some crushed red pepper. I'm doing about a tablespoon, but go light. If you don't like hot, don't do it. Okay, now I'm just adding 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Here I'm adding 3 bay leaves. Now my bay leaves are really small. If you have bigger leaves than I do, add 2 big bay leaves. And don't forget to fish them out when you're done with this. Back to blend and stir, blend and stir. As your meat sauce has been cooking down, it's time to add a cup of milk. And once again, it's going to take about an hour to do this. Let it cook. It's important to let this cook for about an hour or so to blend the flavors and to thicken up. Now it's time to make our cheese mix. I'm adding about a cup of cottage cheese, and then I'm going to add about a cup of ricotta cheese to that. So about a 50-50 blend. This is my ricotta cheese and I'm using the whole container. My cottage cheese, I only used half of the container. Here I'm adding a tablespoon of powdered garlic. Here I'm adding a light teaspoon of red pepper flake. Go light on this stuff, people. Now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now it's time to add some Parmesan cheese to this. I'm using about 3/4 of a cup to this. Half a cup might be better, but 3/4 work for me. Now it's time to blend all this together till you get a nice creamy sauce. And it doesn't take long.
Well, we just got done making a ricotta cheese and cottage cheese mix here. And the next thing we're doing is our meat sauce is cooking away. It needs to cook for a good 45 minutes or so. Let her cook down and get thick and yummy. And then of course, we're going to start really quick like. We're going to cook up some spinach. And that'll be one of our layers in the lasagna. So, looking pretty good.
Well, the meat sauce is looking good and thickening up just the way I like it. So I grabbed my wok, threw in some oil, and it's time to cook up my baby spinach. It looks like a lot when you put it in, but once it starts cooking, it shrinks down and you go, oh, I wonder if I even had enough. So don't be afraid to load up that pan.
So just to let you know that things don't always go as planned, I'm in Arizona, it's a beautiful day, and the power went out. And so, luckily I just got my spinach done, and the Bolognese is fine and cooking down, but apparently I'm going to be late for dinner. So, anyway, I'm sure it won't be too long. But yeah, things happen.
Well, the power's back on and it's time to fish out some of my bay leaves. I did find all 3. Time to create my lasagna. First the meat sauce. Make a nice layer at the bottom here. You may think you have a lot, but you'd be surprised that you'll be using all this. Yes, it looks like a piece of art. Isn't that beautiful? By the way, the kitchen smells wonderful. Yep, first layer looks complete. Now I'm starting to add my oven-ready noodles. These things are awesome. And of course it didn't fit my pan quite right, so I'm just going to break them and fit the spots as like a puzzle. and it worked just fine. So yeah, just if they don't fit, make them fit. As you can see, this was quite perplexing for me to get all the pieces in the right spots. Time to add my cheese layer. So yeah, just dump it on in there, spread it on out. You know, just do your best. The noodles make it kind of hard to get it all spread out, but you'll do it. It'll look pretty when you're done. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Spinach time. I found out there was no nice way to do this. Just grab it with your hands and spread it out. Kind of hard to spread out, but just do your best. It did make the lasagna look very pretty. Hard to believe I used that whole box of spinach. I thought it came out very artistic. This is like water painting day in kindergarten. Just play with your fingers and play in the food. Now it's time to add my second layer of oven-ready noodles. Once again, you just put them in. This time I think I'm just going to overlap it a little bit. And then break up another one and fill in the gaps. It worked just fine. Just don't worry about it. Time to add another layer of meat sauce. This meat sauce tastes wonderful. And this meat sauce smells wonderful. So just spread on another layer. Just about done, looking kind of pretty. Now it's time to spread on some mozzarella cheese. So you'll probably notice I had to send Sherry to the store to get me some more, but I put a nice layer of mozzarella cheese on here before I do my next layer. Yes, it's time for a third layer of noodles. I love noodles in lasagna. And once again, just lay them out the way you want. These things are so nice. I went with just 3 pieces at the top because I'm running out of my main ricotta cheese. So I just spread this out the best I can, and then you'll see what I do next. So now that I got the cheese spread out the best I could, now I'm just adding the remnants of my meat sauce. I don't have a whole lot left, but I thought I'd give it some nice color when it cooks. So I just took what juices I had left and spread it out, and it did make it come out real pretty. So yeah, just because you have a little bit of sauce left or whatever, blend it on the top for color. So, of course, let's add a little more mozzarella cheese because that is my favorite cheese. But wait, there's more. Parmesan cheese time. So put a nice layer of Parmesan cheese on the top. And oh my gosh, when this thing cooks, you'll see how pretty. If you like cheese, you'll love this. So Parmesan cheese on the top. Let her rip, guys. And by the way, people, this is becoming a work of art. I mean, this thing's beautiful. Look at it. But you think it's beautiful now? Wait till you see when it's cooked. This is getting like Christmas. It's like, you know when you're putting little tassels on the tree and you got a whole box of them? And it's like, oh, where do I put it next? Anyway. Yeah, kind of pick and choose, get a nice layer, but be consistent all over the top so it melts evenly. Also a reminder, have your oven set at 350 and ready to go. And add it in there and go for about a half hour. 20 minutes in, it looks beautiful. About 35 minutes later, it's time to pull this out of the oven. Thanks to Sherry, she's helping me out. And look at this work of art. Oh my goodness, the house smells wonderful. Take a look, grab your cameras, Show all your friends and neighbors. It's a work of art, I'm telling you. This is truly my first lasagna. But wait, there's more! Garlic bread. You darn tootin'. You can't have lasagna without garlic bread. So if the house didn't smell good enough already, this garlic bread took it over the top. Does that look pretty or what? Once you let this sit for 10 or 15 minutes, it's time to dive into this puppy. So dive in. There's no pretty way to do this. Just get in there and you'll see. Oh my God, this was beautiful. Guess I better give Sherry a piece too, so yeah. Yum. This is truly what dreams have made of. Does this look good or what?
Alright guys, so my first lasagna is right here. So, do you want to test it first?
It looks great.
Looks good, smells good. We made some garlic bread to go with it, and we'll see how it tastes.
Good.
She says it's good. It's got that spinach in it. Yum. Alright, I'm going to try some. Okay, here we go, guys. It's good.
Well done.
Yes. What do you know? So guys, even with my power going out, it was only off for about 15-20 minutes. We managed to make it through this. My dinner was a little later than normal, so guys, give yourself enough time to make sure you get everything done. So you need an hour at least for the meat sauce. Then you need another half hour or more for just baking. So anyway, came out great. I'm really happy because I've never made a lasagna before. So I hope you enjoyed that, folks. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over. Then go down to the description and think about becoming a member of our Patreon. This will allow you to get special content just for you and help us build future content. Thank you.